Hello, today I'm going to be demonstrating the features of the COVID-19 scenario analysis tool, which has been developed by the MRC Centre for Global Infectious Disease Analysis at Imperial College London and Bionano Consulting. The aim of this tool is to allow you to visualise the COVID-19 epidemic for a particular country and to project scenarios for the impact of a vaccine and the resources required for a range of different vaccine and transmission properties. The screen here shows the landing page for the tool, which is at www.covidsim.org. The screen consists of two panels. Here on the left-hand side, you find the parameter input panel. The panel on the right-hand side provides the output panel. The first drop-down menu on the upper left-hand side of the parameter input panel will automatically show the country that you are in. So here it is shown as the United Kingdom. You can select any country from the menu, so for the purpose of this demonstration, I'm going to change the country to Hungary. It will take a few moments to update the selected region. And once that is updated, underneath the region, the interface will show the total general hospital beds and the total critical care beds for that country. And these can be changed by the user. So first, we will have a look at the outputs in the right-hand panel before going back to the inputs that you can change. The first line plot shows the trajectory of the epidemic for Hungary in terms of the number of deaths per day. And the vertical dashed line shows the current day. To the left of this line, the green dots show the reported daily COVID-19 deaths, and the red line shows the model output of deaths per day fitted to the data points. To the right-hand side of this line are the scenarios going forward to the end of 2022. The pink line is the deaths without any vaccine, or what we call the counterfactual scenario. And this line will change depending on the transmission properties that we will look at in a moment. The red line shows the deaths with a vaccine, which will change based on the transmission and also on the vaccine properties that are selected. Using the checkboxes on the right-hand side, you can also view the infections, both with the vaccine or the counterfactual, and can toggle between a linear and a logarithmic scale. Underneath, we see a plot of R, or the reproduction number over time. So first, the grey line shows RT, or the reproduction number at each point in time, which represents the average number of infections caused by one infectious person without taking into account any immunity. The blue line, or the effective reproduction number, also shows the average number of infections generated by one infectious person, but this accounts for immunity in the population either from previous infection or from vaccination. Note that in the model, we assume that immunity following recovery from infection lasts for an average of 1 year. The effective R is shown up to the current time, and pressing this button will generate the effective R to the end of 2022 based on the parameter inputs. So now let us go back to the parameter input panel. So first we need to consider transmission. The blue shaded box will automatically be populated with the estimated current reproduction number for that country. And note that this is a level of RT that incorporates any control measures, such as physical distancing and mask wearing, that a government might have in place, but it doesn't account for the impact of immunity, either from infection or vaccination. So by default, the interface will have this current estimated RT in place for 6 months going forward in time. But this can be changed by the user. So for example, I am going to keep the current RT until the end of June 2021, and then increase to the value of 2 from the beginning of July until the end of December. And then increase RT again to 2.5 until the end of 2022. More phases can be added as well. And you might consider putting in changes to RT that reflect control measures gradually being lifted as the population is vaccinated. So now I'm going to run the model with these updated estimates of transmission, and this might take a moment. So you can see that the epidemic trajectory has been updated, both the counterfactual and vaccination. And then scrolling down, the plot of RT reflects the 3 phases of RT that we have input. Now, going back to the parameter input panel on the left, we have the option to change inputs relating to vaccination. So here I can select different levels of vaccine efficacy and also whether we have a vaccine that blocks disease only, but that still allows asymptomatic infection, or a vaccine that blocks infection. So here I'm leaving the vaccine set at 90% efficacious and disease blocking. The vaccine durability, or the duration of protection, is by default set to an average of 3 years, but this can be changed. And next we can select the introduction date. So by default, it will be set to the current day. The next input is the number of vaccine courses, but this is shown as the proportion of the population for which enough doses is available. So I'm going to increase this to 70%. Next, you can vary the number receiving the first vaccine dose each week, and by default, this is set to 2.5% of the population. And the model will then allocate second doses at the recommended time after the first dose, which we have fixed to 21 days. Next, the prioritisation and allocation option gives 4 different options for who the vaccine doses might be allocated to within a country and in what order those doses are allocated. So the first one, healthcare workers and the elderly, means that first, the healthcare workers in that country are vaccinated, and then individuals 80 years old and older are prioritised, then the 75 to 80 years age group, and so on, moving downwards through the population. Children younger than 15 are currently not vaccinated. The next option, healthcare workers, elderly and high-risk groups, is similar, except that individuals with underlying health conditions are vaccinated before the working age population. The elderly option vaccinates individuals in the 80 plus group first, then 75 to 80-year-olds, and then so on. And finally, no prioritisation vaccinates uniformly across all age groups 16 years and over. The last option is vaccine uptake, and this is the maximum proportion within any age group targeted that will receive the vaccine. And so this accounts for some people either not being able or being unwilling to be vaccinated. So after choosing the relevant vaccine options, you can again press Run Model. The plots now show the updated epidemic trajectories with vaccination in terms of both infections and deaths. And below, the updated effective reproduction number can also be generated by clicking this button. Clicking on the second tab here shows the healthcare demand. In particular, the magenta line shows the current number of hospitalised individuals for the vaccine scenario at each time point, and the teal line shows the number of individuals in critical care. The light coloured lines show the counterfactuals, or the scenarios without vaccination, and the horizontal line shows the critical care bed capacity for that country. The third tab, vaccine allocation, shows the number of people within that country who have been vaccinated according to the selected strategy. So the upper plot shows the cumulative proportion of the population at each calendar month who has been vaccinated for each of the key risk groups. And hovering over the plot will show the number of people in each vaccinated group, for example, healthcare workers, the population 65 years and older, and also the working age population. The second plot shows the number of people vaccinated in millions in 2021 and 2022, and this is compared to the number of people in each age group for that country. So again, hovering over the bars shows the number of people in millions. This could be used, for example, to calculate the doses required by age and month for that country. Once you have finalised all of the input parameters for your country scenario and the model has been run, you can download a CSV file with all of the inputs and the daily outputs in terms of infections, deaths, hospitalizations, and also fully vaccinated people. And this means that you can run different scenarios for each country, download the CSV file for each scenario, and compare the outputs. Finally, the upper right-hand side shows several other tabs. The Research and FAQ tabs explain the mathematical model, data, and assumptions underpinning this interface. And lastly, the Contact tab includes details to get in touch with the team with any technical difficulties or questions relating to the research underpinning this user interface.